has made it through the draft so far, Akali. This is something that Breathe has played a bunch of in the past. This is something that we know both mid laners competent on. And Rek'Sai is just locked in straight away for WeiWei. Not something I was expecting.
Well, I think you need something to benefit from the aggression that LeBlanc offers, right? You need an early game jungler. Lee Sin would have been great. Xin Zhao would have been solid as well. But when we look at those big 4 junglers being taken away, when you look at the ones remaining, in terms of early pressure, definitely the Rek'Sai is up there. And it seems like they might be leaving this Viktor open. This is going to be a hard lane for Xiaohu, right? 1v1, fine. But you have a Leona and a Rek'Sai and a LeBlanc through the team. They should look to very much punish him in the mid lane. And now we can see what Bin wants to take top lane. You could take the Akali, you could take the Jace, you could take the Graves. There's a lot of option. And it kind of just depends what they want for their team.
Yeah, but a blind pick, so they need to have something that they feel like Bin will be able to take into any matchup that's available. Graves has been one of the standard go-to blind picks this split. It's very safe. A lot of sustain up in that top side. And instantly, Tryndamere is locked in. We heard Xiaohu talking about the Tryndamere mid in the one of the interviews leading into the series. It's not going to be in the mid lane. That's looking up top.
Yeah, and this is one of the few matchups that can really punish the Graves. It's actually quite difficult because Graves has dashes, but he has a limited number, right? You can dash away, you can use the ultimate, you can even flash, right? But the Tryndamere can just chase you down, and if he finds an advantage in this matchup, he can just dive you under tower repeatedly, right? It's not like Graves is not too hard to dive because obviously he has a limited amount of damage. He has a smoke screen, but he doesn't have any hard CC, and Tryndamere will just kill you. So I expect WeiWei to heavily play around the solo lane this year and look to snowball the matchups, and we'll see BLG are able to find a bit more momentum. But I said if you're going to go against these scaling picks, I want some early agency, and they definitely have it here.
Yeah, they've got agency for days at this point with some of the picks that they've got locked in for themselves. And this is more like it from BLG, right? Acknowledging game number 1, saying, hey, the scaling didn't work out. As you're saying, they needed more agency. Well, LeBlanc, Tryndamere, Rek'Sai, bringing things out of the woodwork here, but still having that scaling element of Doggo in the bottom lane for the Jinx. And also Tryndamere. It's not like this is a champion that falls off.
Yeah, I think he will struggle in the later team fights just because when you're against like a Viktor, Nautilus, Aphelios, it can be tricky to sort of find the headway. But it depends how far ahead you get. And also, if they start to play momentum, it's so difficult for RNG to move into enemy territory when there's a potential Tryndamere or LeBlanc flanking of Rek'Sai as well. So we'll see how this one pans out. But I think other than last game where it felt like RNG had the better, like the edge on the scaling, but both teams kind of wanted to lean into anyway, this is very different win cons. And as a result, we'll be sort of following that quite intently and seeing what WeiWei can do. You pick this Rek'Sai because he has such creative gank paths, right? Tunneling over walls can be really punishing. And I'll tell you one thing that I love to see, Bin go in for the Ghost. No TP. And the reason for this, right, is if Breathe has that Ghost cooldown available, he's going to chase you down if you don't have something to match it with. And even if you have Flash, Ghost is a much shorter cooldown. So Bin going to take everything he can to ensure that Tryndamere is just able to chain solo kill him.
Trying to play it as, I guess, as perfectly as you can. We'll see if it's going to work out for them. That Doran's shield starting off for Breathe up in that top side. Knows he's going to be harassed a lot in the early game. Oh, but Aux, I'm excited. I'm feeling the tension here because BLG now backs against the wall. Remember, this is a team that is currently 3-0 in series. They have lost 2 games so far. And if they were to win this series, this would be the 3rd series out of 4 where they go the full distance. But RNG, they've already got a loss on the board. There's less pressure for them. And right now, 1-0 up in this series, they're on the cusp of a 5th win, which would put them in 2nd place in the LPL. And not to mention the bragging rights of winning the Spring Gala.
So it would be huge. And we'll see if they're able to close this one out. Again, Viktor and the Aphelios and the Graves, Viego as well. All these very strong in the later stages. It is about getting that good move so far, though. They know WeiWei starting on that red buff. They even have a ward in the Tribrush as well, so he's not being able to get like an early level 2 gank in the top lane. And you have to be really scared. If Bin burns early summoners, if he falls behind, Breathe can look to really snowball the matchup.
Certainly can, and down in this bottom lane once again. Kind of same old, because we're seeing a lot of, on the bottom side, pretty much the same matchup every single time, but just switching around who's playing what. This time is Gala on this Aphelios alongside Ming on the Nautilus. And I will say, whoever plays the Nautilus, generally speaking, We're seeing a lot of proactivity from those players. I'm thinking of Cold earlier on today. Exceptional Nautilus performance. But also last game, Ming doing such a good job of denying Crisp's engages on this Leona. We talked about the support matchup to start this one off. It feels like Crisp has been playing well, but Ming's just been outplaying him.
Yeah, and a big thing here is that both supports taking Aftershock, that tankiness, but we might get our first Rek'Sai gank of the game. This could be bad for Bin.
Breathe already pushing in. He knows it's time to start the fight. Ghost going to be propped as Bin has to try and back away. He's trying to kite. Breathe low on HP, though. And Bin has played that just beautifully. WeiWei can't even get close to him. And ultimately, he just burns the summoner for a summoner and gets some damage onto Breathe. But WeiWei's like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Listening to Mum's advice his way, as it's time to try and make another play onto Bin, who just goes towards Breathe. Has flash available, gets towards this wall, but so far no flash coming out. That's going to be flash for flash. Breathe will not answer, but Bin, once again surviving, keeping his presence in this top side.
And the counterpoint here is for RNG to invade. They know that there's a heavy commit on the top side, so they'll steal away some buffs. Now, Xiaohu trading well with FoFo, and actually Bin. He's not done.
Bin is like, how dare you come to my lane? He takes his shotgun out. There's a land shotgun out territory. Chases him out, doesn't get the crab, has to go back up to top.
But there's sort of two takeaways. So firstly, Bin played that expertly, but also is the fact that there was a massive minion wave, which was dealing a ton of damage to Breathe. On the first gank, Breathe didn't even have his W, so couldn't obviously slow him down, reduce his AD. But the takeaway is Breathe has a summoner advantage at the end of this, so still could be a little bit dicey in the future. But one of the things that I always think about Rek'Sai is how different his ganks are when you have flash, right? We've all seen those moments where like a Rek'Sai tunnels in and he's like just inches away from being able to knock them up, but just can't get in range. WeiWei's first flash didn't really amount to much, right? And as a result, it's going to really slow down his early pressure. He's already down in terms of XP compared to Wei, down in terms of farm. So we have some catching up to do. And his ganks aren't going to be as effective. So with 4 minutes 45 in the game, and already WeiWei not quite had the impact you'd hope for.
I will say, I'm a little disappointed that we don't have a Kai'Sa in this game. Or a Taliyah. After the cinematic came out, I feel like that would have been just beautiful to see play out in real time. But I will say, I'm waiting for the moment where they patch things up so Kai'Sa can go into Rek'Sai's tunnels. We've got to keep things in line with the lore, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they established a lot of lore. Like, did you not see Taliyah when she knocked down that mountain? I feel like Taliyah should just be able to, like, close off the Baron pit and lock the enemy team in. That would definitely be balanced.
Oh, I thought it was just a metaphor for Taliyah knocking down all of the low elo players that try and lock her in the first place because they just can't pull it off. But we'll have to see if any of those kind of picks end up coming into the LPL. For the time being, things like Viego are working out. Because right now, Wei soloing that Drake with the priority that he has in the bottom lane. That will be the first Drake taken by RNG. And yeah, like you say, almost 20 CS lead on top of a Drake as well. That is insane from Wei.
Yeah, this is the cost of that gank, right? You stayed so far along on the top side, and the fact that Bin didn't die, it's just a signal on the other side. Oh yeah, take everything you want. Now, this is where it gets a little bit scary. Level 6 picked up for Breathe. Don't think he's quite ready to dive yet, but man, look at that crit that just comes out. He doesn't have any items, just a Doran shield and 132 damage just off the base stats off the Tryndamere.
The hilarious thing about that as well is Graves' passive gives him a ton of armor. Graves is meant to be good against AD picks, and it still just doesn't matter when Tryndamere is in the equation. Wei does spot WeiWei out here. Gets him with that Scryer's Bloom and maintains that CS lead. Chris blocked up under his tower. Bit of extra damage out from Gala. This bot lane matchup going very, very well for RNG so far.
Yeah, going pretty good. I mean, the CS advantage hasn't really shown, and bear in mind, Doggo's gone for that early call, so he'll be able to cash out later, but it feels like RNG's bot lane have had the pressure, and we've seen Ming trying to move around. And so far, right, we talked about mid lane as well. Yeah, you have the LeBlanc into the Viktor. This matchup isn't especially stand out 1v1. It's more about the setup. You want your mid laner to set a gank for your jungler, for your support, and to kill the immobile Viktor. So far, Xiaohu's having a great time, right? He's just chilling, farming. He's got first strike as well, so he's getting extra gold from that. He's really having the best time, living the best life in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's loving it. He's loving every second. Already has his lost chapter as well, so it's not like he's going to run out of mana. Like, feels good to be Xiaohu in this game. Feels good to be RNG in this game, honestly, because like we said, scaling, certainly a comfortable position for them. I'm just curious about how does this composition function when we get to the late stages of the game? Because with Tryndamere and Graves and with a Rek'Sai in here, I don't really know what to expect from like team fights.
Yeah, I think team fights are honestly really hard, right? Because Tryndamere's never really been the best at team fights. He's good if you can sort of find backline access, but in a front to back, right? RNG have so much control. These three huge sort of scaling carries in the backline. It's kind of going to be like BLG need to assassinate someone, and then Doggo gets resets and they just charge forwards. You have to think as well with the Ghost on Breathe. If he kills someone, the duration's extended and kind of let him charge forwards more. But yeah, I definitely don't think BLG are going to be super comfortable in the team fights unless they're ahead. It's more going to be about the split push pressure from Breathe, the pick potential of WeiWei and FoFo, and it's kind of relying on them being ahead.
Well, that's a little tough for them. Because right now, they're not finding any leads for themselves. And it feels like RNG are having their way with the map to start things off. It's 2 minutes until that next Drake comes up. But Herald is onto the map. And so that has to be the next topic of conversation, Orcs. What do we want to see? Because we've seen some pretty scuffed lane swaps across the course today. But RNG versus BLG, you expect both teams to have a solid plan around the Herald.
For sure. And I think it might be that BLG just get it free, but the counterpoint is RNG looking towards the bot side, going to zone BLG's bot lane away. FoFo just TP'd mid, by the way, so he can't even TP in here to defend. Breathe obviously doesn't have it, so they're just going to get zoned out. Plate's being taken.
Oh my lord, look at it go down. Look at the speed at which Gala's just shredding this. Forget your Herald. That's 2 plates already answered. The Xiaohu having to flash in the mid lane. We said FoFo needs to step up in this matchup. So far, so good for him. This LeBlanc pick working out as Gala continues to shred the tower. That's 3 plates. Let's make it 4 as well. Gala has just become monstrous in this bottom lane off the back of just not contesting Herald.
Yeah, 4 plates and denying a ton of farm away from Doggo. Now, if BLG can get this tower top lane, it'll be worth, but they're not even going to get it, right? It's not gone down to the 2-plate point where the Heralds would secure it, and critically RNG reset to be top in time to defend. So at the end of the day, it's a massive advantage for RNG. Yes, BLG still have the Herald they can cash in on, but RNG have already managed to get a 2-plate advantage. So BLG gonna need even more if they want to make it a worthy trade.
It's a tough one, but there is an advantage in that top side still, right? 2 plates taken, a 20 CS lead in favor of Breathe. And let's be honest, if there's a player that you want to have a Tryndamere and try and take over either in team fights or side lane, I mean, we saw the team fighting from Breathe in the last game. We've seen many, many great moments from Breathe in team fights. Like, I'm excited that it's Breathe that can be the one to step up in this game for BLG, because I feel like he's a player that really can show his quality.
And especially showing a bounce back from that game 1. And he has really been punished in the matchup. It's a shame about the early plays, but this matchup is just going to become harder and harder to deal with for Bin. His kind of goal is just kill the waves, back away, right? And for now, we see Dragon spawn in a few seconds. We're going to see if any teams be prioritized. That RNG getting that first one, definitely favorable. And you see pings coming out, right? They've actually moved Breathe down here to contest this Dragon, making sure that they have the numbers advantage. RNG don't need to contest this, and based on the resets coming out, they aren't going to.
Yeah, this will be a Cloud Drake as we even things up in terms of the Drakes. That'll be 1 piece here next morning at around 16 minutes. It will be a Mountain Soul once again. 2 games in a row here. And this time around, it doesn't feel like one team has a massive poke advantage like we saw last game, right? That Mountain Soul felt so impactful with the range advantage that RNG also had on top of it. This time around, it's going to be much more about the all-ins in the fights. And so Mountain Soul, still extremely valuable, but maybe getting less value out of the actual shield itself and more value out of the resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think particularly when you have members who can be like pseudo tanky, like the Viego, get a lot of health, the extra resistance can have a fair bit of value. Do you see some items starting to come in, right? Crown of the Shattered Queen on the Viktor definitely makes a lot of difference when we said about that, getting the resets, getting the initial pickoffs. Gale Force on Aphelios pretty much just standard at this point. Breathe, looking for something here. That's the thing, you can go for the poke, you can heal up, you can keep playing with it. Bin is desperately trying to clear out the wave.
Well, there's a Herald
coming. No.
You're not going to clear that one out, Bin, as Breathe to clearing this wave. And actually, Bin goes for a 1v1. He barely even wins it. In fact, he didn't win it against WeiWei. Then Breathe spins in and finishes the kill. Bin, I mean, he's... let's be modern. He's recycling now, okay? No longer trash, he's recycling. This is 2022. We're trying to save the planet here. But regardless, whether it says recycling on the bin or not, it's ending up in a landfill. And now WeiWei knocked up by the depth charge. Can Breathe save his jungler as Ming is here. Wei trying to do some damage, but BLG still with the numbers advantage. I feel like this was a massive overcommitment from RNG as they just cut down and Doggo gets himself a bonus kill. Crisp walks away on a sliver of HP with a stopwatch, and Xiaohu will fall for his trouble. Doggo with the double and everything going the way of BLG.
RNG with a critical error and BLG absolutely pounced. But Gala actually winning 1v1 against FoFo. Not sure how that came down, but FoFo definitely regretting going for the AD carry in the side lane. We'll throw the emote as he walks away, but BLG able to capitalize on a big lead there. And I'm kind of curious why RNG went for this, because they're in the numbers advantage in this situation, right? You can see Crisp and Doggo moving over here, just caught unawares, but this engage is so ambitious. WeiWei tunnels, and it's only Wei hitting him, right? And then Breathe is finding perfect team fighting scenarios for himself here. Ghost gets the reset, gets the kill, looks towards the Nautilus. Again, another Ghost reset, just flashes over. No way that we're going to see Xiaohu get away, and it's just very unnecessary from RNG, very overforced, and you're just giving more gold to the other side.
Honestly, that felt like a desperation play, which we're only 13 minutes, 14 minutes in. They're not that far behind. I'm surprised to see them commit like that.
They weren't even behind before that fight, I feel, really.
Oh, FoFo's found an opportunity onto Bin, but he's run out of cooldowns. Bin still has a shotgun, which is always going to be big. Laser comes on through. That's the clone gone down. FoFo, though, I think will find his way to safety. Wei's trying to catch him off guard. We're waiting for that Mimic to come off a cooldown, but that's a long way away. FoFo could be in trouble as the rest of the team trying to corral them as well. Ming, though, is just going to get caught by WeiWei. Void Rush available if he wants to try and finish it. Rocket goes wide. Void Rush comes through. Ming, though, gets the CC, and Xiaohu just one-shots Wei. What is happening in this game? Game 1 was so clean. It was clinical. Game number 2, it's like a monkey surgeon.
I have no idea what Wei was going for there. Like, you land the Prey Seeker, you're like, yeah, I can ult in here. It's like, no, man. I mean, even if you killed Ming, you're just trading. There's still a low chance that's going to happen. It's messy, right? RNG getting answered back, but in the meantime, Breed is just causing problems here, and Chris might have found Bin as well.
Yeah, Bin, I mean, he's used all his dashes, and that's going to be 1, 2, give it a third auto, and that's the job done. But Breed actually can't close the gap. Luckily, he's Tryndamere, so he'll just kill Ming instead. Gaming. Now Xiaohu's the target as more crits come on through, and Breathe, the absolute gamer, is destroying these fools. Finally goes down, but Bin will answer for his crimes as FoFo is here to finish the kill off. Just waiting for that W. Doesn't even need it. It's the Sigil of Malice will do it. But now Gala answering and charges on forward. His Aphelios is terrifying as FoFo zips back, drops a little kitty, but he's on the wrong side of the map once again. Actually, no, he's on the right side of the map. He's made it out.
He got out, and again, it feels like these fights are messy, but BLG answering on the other side. Doggo threatening this mid lane tower. Oh, they're looking for a play.
Wei's already dead. Everyone's just getting one-shot this game. It's just pure damage on both sides, and it's leading to a bloodbath.
Absolutely. Considering how slow game 1 was, this is just hectic fighting non-stop, and it really favors BLG in this situation. Bin overstepping, should have expected at least someone to show up, but bare minimum, you can't step up to the Tryndamere. And honestly, Ming comes in with the CC. Bree's like, whatever, I'll just kill Ming. Tanks up the tower for so long, and then Xiaohu mistimes it, right? He lasers him when his ult's still there, and then doesn't have enough damage to finish him off, waiting for his cooldowns. They eventually do get Breathe, but this Tryndamere is causing massive issues for RNG.
Yeah, FoFo just chasing that kill down, and then Gala, fair play to him. Like, the follow-up here, the fact that Gala is comfortably 1v1ing FoFo every fight, that's not how this matchup is meant to go. In the meantime, Drake taken by BLG. That's 2 on the trot for them.
And now there's a 2-level lead. 30 CS, 2 kills more in favor of Breathe. This matchup is becoming more and more and more painful. I feel like RNG, that's why they're starting to feel desperate, right? They know the side lane might become almost impossible to hold. And despite the fact they have strong scaling carries, it's not really necessarily about that. They are going to pick up this Herald, though. No real contest coming out from BLG. But BLG can easily just fan out. And that's another thing. It's not only the fact that Breed is winning in his side lane. The fact that FoFo in a side lane forces Xiaohu into an uncomfortable position, right? You don't want to be catching side waves as a Viktor when there's a Rek'Sai, when there's a LeBlanc running around.
Yeah, that Prey Seeker lands. The Void Rush comes on through with LeBlanc there to finish the job. It's a difficult life for a Viktor main in this kind of game, as WeiWei already been spotted now, so Xiaohu knows he needs to back away from this one as Wei trying to find his opportunity onto FoFo. But it's a LeBlanc, right? You're never going to find that same level of kill threat. It feels like Wei just shadowing to try and keep Xiaohu safe for the time being.
And that's, I think, the camera sense, right? You can obviously keep track of when anyone's near, make sure that FoFo can keep pushing. Actually, a little skirmish coming out here.
A little tunnel away from WeiWei as FoFo deciding not to engage, at least for the time being. And RNG will just have to back away from this one as FoFo zips on out of the situation. And it feels like we've gone from pure chaos, just bloodthirst everywhere, to suddenly a quiet lull where RNG are like, you know what? Maybe we can't do anything on the top side. Maybe try and make something happen, counter the play on the bottom side, but realistically, they're having to play it safe for the time being.
Yeah, well, I think, honestly, if RNG can just keep stalling things out, so they're kind of happy with that, but BLG really want to see more things happen. The matchup between the Graves and the Tryndamere, it's not that the Graves is necessarily going to get to the point where he can match the Tryndamere in terms of like 1v1ing him, but eventually hoping he's going to get a bit more sort of defensive tools, be able to sustain up, be able to clear out the waves quickly. Actually gone for the Warden's Mill, so really, like, I just don't want to die in the side lane. That was my job. But also, Rek'Sai is going to fall off a cliff this game, right? This pick, very good at bursting people out, but in later game teamfight, doesn't really offer even what it used to, right? It used to be when it was the original Rek'Sai, is you used to be able to AoE knock up, and you'd go tanky and you'd have a lot of value there. It's not like that anymore. You have single target damage, single target. Well, you have an AoE, a little bit of AoE damage, but it's mostly about bursting one target.
I miss the farm alarm, dude. You're reminding me of the old days of Rek'Sai just ulting back in to continue clearing the jungle.
The pool party skin when he had like the jet ski.
Yes.
That was the best.
I mean, that still exists. That still exists. Doesn't it? Isn't that his home guard, I thought?
Maybe? I don't know. Her home guard, remember?
Oh, sorry, her. My apologies, Rek'Sai. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. If it's not in the game anymore, that is a severe oversight by Riot Games, and I'll be sending a very angry email. It's
one of the best assets, right, that Rek'Sai has. So, definitely value there now. I think Bin just gets the recall off here. They're kind of fanning out, looking for him, and he will be able to get away. As you said, slowed down a fair bit. Feels like RNG managed to stabilize a little bit, but it's a minute 30 on the next dragon. This will be the third for BLG, and I think they should just keep looking to chain this one. Look towards that soul and kind of force RNG into them. But kind of one of the win conditions I said before is if it does come to team fights, they really want RNG to come in late, right? After moving to territory they don't have warded, and that's where FoFo and Breathe can find the flanks. Quite easy for RNG if they can see everything in front of them, if they can control it, if they can use their CC, but if things are coming from behind, it gets a bit tricky.
Breathe is that things that's coming from behind here as he tries to find a flank off on the side. BLG lose their mid tower as RNG finally getting that Herald down, closing the gold gap slightly. 2,500 gold is the advantage in favor of BLG. And even though it's not the biggest gold lead in the world, it feels massive because of where that gold is, as FoFo just gets absolutely destroyed by Xiaohu. That was damn close to just being an immediate solo kill. FoFo does have teleport, so he'll still be able to participate in a fight if there happens to be a fight around this dragon. Is RNG actually playing towards the top side? WeiWei gonna go for the scuttle crab and just about dodges away from that dredge line as well. Gala dodging the zap as well. It feels like fancy footwork across the field here. Need to see BLG on top form if they want to stay in this series. Remember, RNG already one game in hand and now looking for a fight as well. Hook comes on through as Ming starts the fight off, but FoFo's there. One-shots Ming, but he survives, walks away with his life at very least. And Doggo is just about out of mana. He won't be able to use his rockets in this upcoming fight.
And I think you can see, though, the tankiness difference between these supports, right? Ming getting absolutely shredded, but Leona is kind of immortal. Popping that W with the aftershock as well makes such a big difference. BLG, despite the fact Doggo doesn't have much mana, they have the mana advantage as Ming has to reset. They will be able to pick up this dragon. That's now 3 in pocket. The soul, definitely a win condition they may have to lean on to carry this game out to finish it off. Now, we do have some big items coming in, right? Breathe with the Navori Quick Blades makes a big difference, right? Because basically, one of the reasons Tryndamere is so frustrating to play against is anytime he crits, it sort of lowers the cooldown. Well, anytime he autos, it lowers the cooldown on his spin. If he crits, it lowers it by even more. The Vori also lowers your cooldowns when you crit. So essentially, the whole game plan is you spin, you auto, you spin, and you just keep doing that, and you can't be escaped from, especially with Ghost as well.
As a Tryndamere abuser myself, I can tell you it is disgusting. It is absolutely filthy. You're just permanently spinning. And the spins do massive damage by themselves as well. FoFo is not going to feel the wrath of a Tryndamere, but he's going to feel the wrath of a very big sword as well as a wizard's laser. Is Viktor a wizard? I don't know. I'd say he's a techno wizard at very least. RNG, they're biding their time. They're certainly playing this one safe. I feel like they need to make something happen here. They're just going to recall. Yeah, they're not going to recall? What? Pull the trigger, guys. What's happening?
It's so hard to like pin down this LeBlanc. I think maybe they're waiting for FoFo to burn enough mana. He's quite low on mana now. No distortion. Could find him.
Okay, here we go. Chaos Storm comes on out. Gravity Well on the spot. Nicely done. That's going to be the ult coming out from WeiWei as well. They're desperate to lock FoFo down, but Xiaohu's the stopwatch? I mean, you already bought enough time.
I know what it is.
1 minute of waiting in the
I know
brush.
what it is. He's got Corrupting Potion. He wanted to pop it for Time Warp Tonic, so he got the movement speed. He clicked the wrong button. Oh,
it hurts to see.
It's painful.
Hey, you know what? We can take this as a positive. Everyone at home, even the pros make mistakes, all right? Even the pros make mistakes. You can feel a little bit better about the times that you... All of the times that you flash Gale Force did as Aphelios, you can feel better about that, because even the pros do.
Abel's feeling a lot better right now.
Every opportunity. That's all this cast is now. Just roast the one play from Abel. Let's look at the pro view.
No! They do this! Oh my god!
LPL production just straight roasting Xiaohu.
That's brutal. That is honestly brutal.
Okay. Well, the seriousness is now officially gone. It's over. 3 drinks on the board. BLG next one up in 2.5 minutes time, but Baron is a concern at this stage, because I desperately try and bring some decorum back to the cast. BLG currently in control. They've got vision control, but not really able to clear all of the vision from RNG.
Yeah, I think they're trying to push forward, but they're still a little bit cautious about overextending. There is that engaged potential for Ming. We do see that Bane has completed his Randuins, right? Has the chance to reduce the crit damage. And actually the active, very powerful if Tryndamere is on you. Not exactly a build we see regularly for Graves, but gotta respect it.
It's like a TFT Graves build. Where it looks kind of funky, but trust me, if you do the maths, it works. Here we go, Teamfight coming on out as Chris goes in solo player in the middle of everything, but now the follow-up onto Gala. He's stuck and he's taken down by the Void Rush. That's 2 for the little girl in the tunnels, and now another one for Tryndamere as well. Breathe takes him down. A double kill for Breathe. And now onto the Baron can go BLG.
Easy resets coming in, and critically, Gala got absolutely massacred in that fight. We talked about how the choke points could be potentially dangerous, but one of the biggest strengths that RNG have is Viktor in the choke point. And you actually saw Xiaohu running across the map trying to get there, but by the time he's there, his whole team is dead. Not sure why they went in for that play, but ultimately, BLG able to get the kills and get the Baron. And man, this is a horrible comp to face against when they have Baron with that Tryndamere. We get the replay, and it's just them being a bit sloppy, but they go for Crisp, right? And he's so tanky. They can't burst him out, and then watch Gala. Already flashed. You have a Rex on you. You have a Breathe on you. A Tryndamere in your face. It is just not a good time.
That Void Rush doing like a third himself as well. WeiWei playing that one beautifully to finish off.
You see Xiaohu on the map just arriving just now. Didn't quite have teleport.
Yeah. Unfortunate for RNG. But BLG, once again, we keep on talking about these two teams. It's not just about the proactive plays, it's about the reactive plays, right? Setting themselves up and being able to punish the mistakes from their opponents. BLG doing that beautifully here. And you just look across the scoreboard, right? That tells you everything you need to know about how this game is going. And now I think we're getting to the point where it's like in Xiaohu and Gala we trust, right? Unless they can just have some insane pop-up in a team fight, I don't think it's winnable for RNG.
I don't think it matters because Breathe in the side lane, he's level 17 now, 3 items with the Infinity Edge. He's just going to kill Bin.
No.
Bin has to flash over the wall.
Breathe, I think, was willing to commit to the tower anyway.
Actually,
here we go, Zonius comes on
hit.
through. That's going to be Xiaohu caught. Flashes out to safety, but WeiWei has to sacrifice himself to protect his mid laner. Never mind, Xiaohu is not popping off. His health bar is popping instead in this one. Drake is now up. BLG with a man advantage, and that should be solved.
Yeah, I mean, Soul's easy to pick up here, but they still have the Baron of pressure, and it's so hard for RNG to respond to.
Oh, my lord!
It's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
That was just a
Fortunately,
QE. That was just
Yeah.
a QE.
pretty nuts, right? LeBlanc pretty strong, got the triple pen items, and BLG just gonna pick up that soul. It's just getting worse and worse, and this game really feels like it's hitting critical mass at this point. BLG massively ahead, and these answers we said RNG had, the team fights, they just never really found the opportunity. Now they're looking for a potential pick. Goodbye, Ming.
Yeah, FoFo over the wall, does get locked up, but they can't finish it off. Crisp now stunned. It doesn't matter, as now a solar flare comes in, and Crisp wants a bit of revenge. He's got some stuns of his own. He goes for the kill, and the zap finishes it off. Double kill for Doggo. So now the rest of the squad moves in. Wei wants to play as the Sun for a little bit. Knight Celeste stepping forward, but turns back into Arthas. Just now breathe. Trying to keep pushing. He's really not afraid, is he? There's three members of RNG there.
And he doesn't need to be.
flinch.
He just spins away and he's completely fine. I mean, he's so strong at this point, and he's just not a viable target to kill when he has his ultimate. It's feeling difficult right now. 10,000 gold lead in favor of BLG. Now, fortunately, the silver lining, not even the silver lining, the copper lining for RNG is that the Baron is timing off, so they don't have to worry about that until the next one spawns. But BLG have just a massive lead. Still have the obviously the mountain soul that's going to be a constant problem. Doggo getting more and more fed, and it just feels like everyone on BLG is now strong.
Yeah, it really, oh my lord, Ming almost gets taken down again. FoFo is having a whale of a time. You know, we've criticized FoFo's form in recent weeks. At the start of this split, it's felt like he's been struggling to get off the ground a little bit. Well, the LeBlanc's still looking pretty good. The LeBlanc looking clean, and he is not afraid to make an impact on a game with this kind of pick as well. Feels like he's having a whale of a time. Doggo as well, 5-0-5. We said this is the game where Doggo is the... He's not quite a rookie, right? This is his first year in the LPL, second year as a professional player, but comparatively to everyone else in this game, he is as green as the grass outside, you know? And it feels like he has stepped up massively to perform today.
Yeah, really has. You know, game one had some solid moments despite the loss, but game two, really being that late game insurance, is just not being challenged for the side of RNG. They're going to try and deal with the waves here. You have a TP. This is TP flying from a Viktor.
Here we go. This is the opportunity, but Doggo just one-shots Ming. And there's no way. I mean, the flank is there, but Xiaohu's just like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not doing this one, lads. See you later. Let's get a game 3.
Yeah. Man, what an ending for this game. But yeah, BLG just too strong now. There was an attempt by RNG, but they won't find anything more. The game's just going to end here.
FoFo looking for one last bonus onto Xiaohu, who uses the stopwatch this time correctly, and in goes Breathe onto the fountain. No fear from BLG. A dominant game number 2 win, and that means we get the full series. The Spring Gala goes the distance, and the match of the week will go to 3.
And honestly, RNG made a fair few mistakes